A beautiful model from Chicago on the verge of making it big, murdered at a bus stop after visiting her grandmother. There's one witness, but he's not talking. Now, on the anniversary of her death, her father tells me police are keeping him in the dark.
I miss my daughter. Well, 9 years is a long time not to hear anything.
Plus, chilling video, a single mom running for her life, desperate to escape a rapist.
He told me to get undressed, and I was crying, shaking uncontrollably.
Her 72 minutes of terror, abducted at gunpoint, beaten, forced to pose for naked pictures. The monster's big mistake that leads to his capture, and nobody can believe who it is. Your daily source for true crime starts right now. Thanks for joining us today. We begin in Chicago, where an aspiring model with big dreams and a bright future was savagely gunned down. With no leads, her family and police need your help in bringing her killer to justice. Funny, vivacious, goofy.
Or she would just be dancing around. That's pretty much all she did.
Just a few of the words Kaylyn Pryor's father and sister used to describe her.
Happy, hilarious, and all of her crazy dance moves.
The loudest one in the house, always.
I ain't gonna do it.
Kaylyn's parents moved their girls to the relative safety of Evanston, about 20 miles north of the gang-infested south side of Chicago. But beautiful Kaylyn was on her way to the catwalks of New York and Paris.
She wanted to be a model, be a lawyer. She wanted to do everything.
In 2015, stunning 20-year-old Kaylyn beat out 500 other young women in a modeling competition.
Never seen it like that. Couldn't believe it.
Suddenly, Kaylyn was on the cusp of stardom, fielding offers from national modeling agencies.
This year's face for Mario Make Me a Model, Kaylyn.
They announced her name, and she was just kind of like,
Pause.
me? Did this like crazy strut. She had like a fierce walk.
She was even interviewed by a local news station, her father watching from the sidelines.
Oh, hi, Dad. Hi.
Then, on a cold November day, just hours before she was to sign a contract, cruel fate cast a devastating blow. After visiting her grandparents in the South Side neighborhood of Inglewood, she headed for the bus stop to head home. But as she was standing near a 15-year-old boy, a dark-colored SUV rolled up and opened fire.
They shot him, I think 3 times. And she was standing, I guess she was standing so close to him that she couldn't get out the way. And he shot her once.
The teenage boy, the intended target, survives. Sadly, Kaylyn isn't so lucky.
What they say is you in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know if I believe that or not, because you can be wherever you want to be.
The community rallies around the devastated family. Even Chicago's mayor at the time lends his support. But without a single witness stepping forward, the case goes cold.
It was daytime when it happened, so I know people saw it, but nobody said anything.
Now, 9 years later, there's no new information about Kaylyn's killer despite a $30,000 reward. Her father takes part in a campaign focused on ending gun violence in Chicago.
My name is Alan Scott. I lost my daughter, Kaylyn Nicole, to gun violence. Parents and adults, please talk to your children.
Our communities need to stand together and start making certain decisions to take back the community.
All right, exactly.
You know?
Joining me now is Kaylyn's father, Alan Scott. Mr. Scott, welcome. I'm so sorry for your loss and the fact that you still have no answers.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It's been 9 years. Is there any update on your daughter's murder?
It's been a while since I heard anything.
But at least for a little while there, you had detectives with whom you had built some kind of a bond. And now with one passed and one retired, are you feeling, more isolated and maybe more alone in this process?
Yeah, I'm trying to be patient, but it's frustrating. Sometimes I think to myself, like, did she even exist at all, And I know she did. But, 9 years is a long time not to hear anything.
A very long time. Is there a little bit of hope by the fact that your daughter's case has now been moved to a cold case unit that might actually give it another set of eyes?
Absolutely hopeful. We're still devastated over this, I honestly, I can't believe it. To this day, I can't believe it. It's been 9 years. It feels like it happened yesterday. I can't believe it. I just cannot believe this happened,
When your daughter was murdered, she was at the bus stop and there was someone else who was shot.
He's just a young kid trying to find himself. I asked him what you talked about, what you laughed about, but don't tell me anything after she died, after she got shot, because I can't. I got those thoughts in my head already, and I don't want to know her agony. So he told me they laughed and talked, and all of a sudden, you heard screeching of the tires and all these gunshots.
In 2022, the street where your daughter was murdered has been named after her. Is there something healing in that?
Yeah, she was special. Yeah, that street sign is going to be there forever. I miss my daughter. I miss her every day. I can't go a day without thinking about her.
I'm sorry, Mr. Scott. I hope you get justice.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have any information that could help catch Kaylyn's killer, please contact the homicide unit at the Chicago Police Department at 312-747-8271 or call the True Crime News tip line at 888-845-7555. When we come back, a single mom makes a daring escape from a sexual predator.
He ended up putting the gun to my head and told me to stop crying.
Her incredible survival story and the shocking identity of her attacker.
I ran like the hounds of hell were on my heels.
That's next. We turn now to the brazen attack in a parking lot in broad daylight. A brave mom making a daring escape from a madman with a gun. What started as a normal day for Erinn Orcutt instantly turned into a living nightmare. But as you'll see, thanks to her courage and quick thinking, she somehow managed to survive.
A daring escape caught on tape.
It was then or never.
A single mom literally on the run from a gun-wielding rapist.
I ran like the hounds of hell were on my heels.
And her nightmare was far from over.
My stomach dropped. I knew I wasn't dealing with the average person.
Young mom Erinn Orcutt was a busy woman raising a young child and working as a cocktail waitress at a restaurant in Ontario, California.
At the time, I would spend my weeks with my son, and on the weekends, I would be at work pretty much from Thursday night to Sunday afternoon.
But one Saturday in April, business was slow. Erinn suddenly had an afternoon to herself and left work early.
You get off in the middle of the day, you're excited about having the rest of your evening. You're not thinking bad things are going to happen to you that day.
But joy was about to turn into terror.
When I got to my car, I had a habit of clicking my unlock button twice because it unlocks all the doors.
As Erinn opened her door, she heard...
Get in the car.
A stranger had a gun pointed directly at Erinn. She knew hollering for help wouldn't do any good.
It's very rare for the parking lot to be empty. Unfortunately for me, it was empty. And he had a friend behind him who was kind of blocking from the aisle direction.
With nowhere to run, Erinn submitted to the gunman's demands.
I got in the car, he got in the passenger seat and told me to drive.
The accomplice stayed behind. Now Erinn and her abductor were alone, leaving the mall parking lot on a ride to hell.
He didn't tell me where to drive, and since I grew up in the area, I knew of a few places where cops tended to hang out. So I figured I would try to steer that direction. I contemplated driving my car off the road or ramming into somebody else or just putting it in park and running.
As she drove, she begged to be released.
I pleaded with him, just, you can take my car. I'm not worried about it. I won't call the cops. Just take my car and let me out. I'm parked facing a window into a storage facility, and there's there was a gas station down the street, there's a Denny's behind me, there's a liquor store right there. I thought, there's no way anything's gonna happen.
But this was no ordinary carjacking. Erinn's attacker wanted something else. He forces her into the back seat.
I started crying. He got in the back seat with me and kind of sat where my car seat was. My son had a full car seat at the time, and he was sitting on top of that. He ended up putting the gun to my head and told me to stop crying. He actually racked the gun, and a bullet popped out and landed in the seat. I knew the gun was fully loaded. He told me to get undressed, and I was crying, shaking uncontrollably. Nothing that I was going to say was going to get through to him.
Erinn's tears quickly dry up when her abductor sticks the gun in her mouth, aggressively demanding she shut up.
He had me sit on top of his lap.
The man sexually assaulted Erinn, all the while snapping photos of the violent event.
And then he told me to smile pretty and took a picture of me without my clothes on.
And then, in another depraved act, the attacker texts the pictures and calls his accomplice back at the mall parking lot.
His friend was like, "Where are you?" He was laughing on his phone.
The laughter didn't last. Erinn says in an instant, rage took over.
He'd just stare at me, just dead eyes, and just hit me. He socked me in the face a few times. He had me get on my stomach, and he tried to rape me from behind. He really couldn't.
After about an hour, the gunman told Erinn to get dressed. Their road trip was about to take an even darker turn.
He had mentioned that we were going to go to the desert and finish this. I knew if I didn't get out right then and there, there's no way I would have made it out.
Erinn discreetly noticed her attacker's gun had fallen to the floor and was now under the passenger seat.
I threw the door open and I ran. Like the hounds of hell were on my heels.
This surveillance footage captures Erinn's bold sprint to safety, although no audio captured her piercing screams the entire way.
I said, "He has a gun, he has a gun. Everybody get back inside."
Detective Robert Marquez arrives on scene first, astounded at Erinn's bravery.
He had done too many things in front of too many cameras, and his plan was to take her somewhere and harm her.
But once Erinn made her escape, the gunman tried to make his own.
He had grabbed my keys and tried to start my car, but I had a kill switch.
He took off on foot quickly, getting lost in all the traffic, but he made one critical mistake.
He left his gun inside the car.
And that's not all.
Taped on the bottom of the magazine was his name. My stomach dropped.
In his haste to escape, Erinn Orcutt's rapist had left behind the gun used to kidnap her.
We were able to locate his gun, her clothing, biological fluids, and his sunglasses.
And right there, taped on the bottom of the gun's magazine, the suspect's name. It was a labeling technique Detective Robert Marquez knew very well.
Normally, police officers, they will put their name on the bottom of the magazine in case they have to let somebody else use their magazine in a gunfight. I was shocked.
And shock was about to turn into outrage. As cops were investigating Erinn's abduction, a sex crimes officer named Anthony Orban from the nearby city of Westminster was reporting his gun missing or stolen in the Ontario area.
They kind of put two and two together and they decided, hey, this is related.
Officer Orban was tracked down to a nearby parking lot where he was helping a friend and fellow officer find his truck.
Yes, Jeffrey Jelinek was a correctional officer for the state of California.
Orban and Jelinek matched the descriptions Erinn had given of her attackers. They even had her car keys. Officers Orban and Jelinek were immediately taken into custody, but both claimed amnesia.
Why is your gun in this girl's car? I don't know. Do you remember pulling down your pants? No. Why were you guys over by Dave & Buster's? I don't know. Do you remember following the girl to the car? I don't.
Officer Orban claims
he drank too many margaritas at lunch, which, when mixed with an antidepressant, caused him to black out.
I haven't drank in a very long time.
But what he did admit to detectives corroborated what Erinn tearfully revealed.
I've been on those antidepressants, and it just kills your sex drive.
I was pissed. So pissed. So many people are on Zoloft and they're not gonna go off and rape somebody and kidnap them at gunpoint. It was an excuse.
But Officer Jelinek regained some of his memory.
He told us at the very end of his interrogation, you might want to look at the photos. And I said, what photos? And he said, the photos on my phone. I went, what?
On his phone, all the pictures Anthony Orban snapped while raping Erinn at gunpoint. Orban keeps up the charade.
This has to be a bad dream. What is going on? What the?
But eventually, Officer Jelinek strikes a plea deal and Officer Orban pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, claiming the Zoloft left him unconscious during the attack. But a jury didn't buy it. Anthony Orban is convicted of 8 felony counts of kidnapping, rape, and sexual assault. Jeff Jelinek receives 5 years, pleading no contest. Then, on sentencing day, just as Erinn summons the bravery to confront her attackers for the first time,
I got a phone call and they told me you may not have to even come down today. They found him dead in his cell.
Anthony Orban committed suicide by hanging himself.
I needed that closure and I was just in tears.
In a highly unprecedented move, the judge still allowed Erinn to read her victim impact statement.
No amount of reasoning can justify the horrors that I was forced to endure that day. I am disappointed that a person in your position would have behaved in such a way, and that you tried to get away with it instead of owning up to your actions like a real man.
Today, Erinn is living her life a strong survivor who refuses to break.
And it was either, okay, get back up and figure your life out, or you're gonna cling to it as a crutch, and I wasn't about to be a victim.